Hello everyone, welcome to the Crystaly Recapped channel. Natalie is a beautiful girl who is forced to provide various services because she cannot find a normal job due to an unfortunate incident in college. Working independently and without intermediaries, she finds clients and fulfills their wishes. Natalie is ready to work with anyone. In a way, this even brings her satisfaction, as she earns well and can fully support herself. Mitch is a failed journalist who avoids serious relationships and is fixated on the idea of meeting any girl he can. His best friend decides to help fix the situation and invites Mitch to a blind date with a nice and well-mannered girl. Showing no interest in her, Mitch hides in the bathroom to watch a movie and do some work. He doesn't want to fall in love and prefers to meet girls through an app, where they are undemanding and always know what they want. Their encounters rarely last longer than 5 minutes, but that's enough for Mitch. One evening, Mitch and Natalie end up together at a bar by the counter. Out of habit, the girl offers her services, but Mitch isn't used to paying and calls her easy, receiving a sharp retort in return. Natalie doesn't consider herself a representative of the oldest profession, calling it escort services. Before leaving, she admits that she graduated from a prestigious university, which somewhat shocks the journalist. Mitch's familiar world crumbles when his boss decides to fire him due to staff reductions at the editorial office. Realizing that he will never be able to compete with his female colleagues, Mitch leaves the newspaper. He quickly falls into depression and loses faith in himself, finding solace in casual encounters with beautiful girls. A few weeks later, Mitch decides to find a new job, but all the editorial offices reject his resume or offer to work for free. He dares to apply to a fashion magazine, but they also turn him down, considering him an unprofessional journalist who writes uninteresting and irrelevant material. Obsessed with the idea of working in a glossy magazine, Mitch promises to come up with an interesting article topic and remembers the smart but intriguing Natalie. Financial problems also remind him of themselves, as the guy has no money to pay rent. In the evening, he tries to find Natalie at a bar but behaves suspiciously, leading the bartender to suspect that Mitch is a police officer. The journalist isn't ready to show his credentials to a stranger. When he finally meets Natalie, he asks her to help and become the subject of a captivating article, but the girl is adamantly against it, not wanting her personal life and work to become public knowledge. That same evening, Natalie meets a client who oversteps boundaries. She is strongly against kissing. After consulting with her friend, Natalie realizes that it would be good to find someone who could protect her. Not wanting to share money with others, she calls Mitch and agrees to be the main character of his story on the condition that he stays close to her at all times and changes his appearance, ditching the glasses and old sweater in favor of a jacket and a gold chain. Being constantly around Natalie, Mitch is shocked to learn that besides this work, she also tutors troubled teenagers in math. Over time, Mitch meets Natalie's best friend and finds out that it was she who introduced her to this world. The girl liked the easy money for fairly pleasant work, so she got hooked. At the same time, like many others, she promises to quit sooner or later, as soon as she saves up enough to invest in her own business. In the evening, the couple goes to a bar where Mitch is supposed to watch over Natalie as she meets other men. Guarding a hotel room, the guy realizes that Natalie is faking it, but she needs to do so to get good tips. Soon, Mitch and Natalie start spending more time together and become friends with a lot in common. One evening, some unruly men accost the girl, and Mitch has to defend her. At that moment, he reveals Natalie's deception, as she is using him as a bodyguard to protect her from trouble with difficult clients. After receiving a message, Mitch leaves, and Natalie finds this suspicious. She had noticed that the guy was often texting someone, but she didn't understand what he was hiding from her. Deciding to follow Mitch, Natalie discovers that he spends time in the bathroom of a cheap cafe with the first girl he meets. Mitch has to tell her about the app for quick hookups. After this, the couple boasts about their test results and frequent checkups at clinics to ensure they don't have any diseases. As a result of their meetings, Mitch not only tells Natalie that she is very beautiful, but also asks her to pretend to be his girlfriend for an introduction to his father. Mitch is worried that everyone thinks he's obsessed, so he wants to introduce his family to a girl, creating the illusion that they are in a relationship. The next morning, the couple heads to a country house where it turns out that Mitch's father is a wealthy man who used to be into sports. Raising Mitch's younger sister, Charles and Emily are delighted with Natalie, as they don't realize that she's not just a children's tutor. After lunch, Mitch decides to talk to his father alone and asks to borrow money but is refused, not suspecting that Natalie overheard their conversation. A little later, the couple drives Emily to meet her friends and decides to spend some time together. During the conversation, Natalie admits that she had a great education and could have achieved more, but she loved making love too much. Shortly before graduation exams, she made a list of all the guys she had dated and sent it to her friends. The jealous girls published this list, leading to a scandal that was even shown on television. As a result, Natalie's name became associated with a bad reputation, and she was rejected at all job interviews. Believing that her reputation was irreparably damaged, she entered this field. In the evening, Natalie and Mitch pick up Emily and see that she is crying because her friends insulted her. Wanting to restore justice, Natalie goes to them and causes a scene, but she accidentally mixes up the houses and yells not at Emily's friends, but at a little schoolgirl. Finding herself in an awkward situation, she has to flee. Returning home, the couple and Emily watch a movie and then head to the bedroom. Mitch can't lie down next to Natalie and decides to unpack the sleeping bag. Natalie helps him, and at that moment, a spark ignites between them. They kiss, and the couple can't hold back. In the morning, Natalie gives Mitch a ride home and, knowing about his financial problems, gives him some money. While the girl goes to the clinic to check her health, Mitch meets another beauty, but realizes he can no longer do this with just anyone. He has fallen in love with Natalie and wants to be with her. So he goes to the clinic to support the girl and spend time together. Sometime later, Mitch quarrels with his friend because he doesn't support his love for this girl. Natalie continues her work, but this doesn't make Mitch happy at all, as every day he becomes more and more jealous of the girl. Soon, his friends and family arrive to force Mitch to undergo rehabilitation with a psychologist and get rid of his dependency. Ignoring this opportunity, he meets with Natalie again and watches her search for clients. Seeing another man making unwanted advances, Mitch attacks him and beats him severely. The girl is disappointed with his behavior, but attempts to sort things out end in a quarrel. The couple realizes that they are both victims of psychological trauma. Natalie meets men because she's afraid of being rejected, and Mitch meets girls because of his insecurity. Mitch and Natalie continue living their lives. Natalie keeps pleasing men and old men with her beauty, while Mitch drinks and tries to write an article about Natalie. After spending several weeks on this, he returns to the fashion magazine's office to quit. The woman is surprised by such changes since Mitch was previously eager to work for them, and now he's afraid to publish an interesting story. Realizing what's important to him, Mitch finds Natalie in a hotel room for dates and kicks out her latest married client to talk to her alone. He confesses his love for the girl but doesn't receive an answer, so he leaves her forever. A few months later, Mitch publishes a long article, a story about a girl from escort services that captivates readers and becomes a bestseller in the world of glossy magazines. Meanwhile, Natalie gets a decent job where her education and abilities are valued, not her past. The boss's daughter had been a victim of online bullying, so she has no intention of mistreating a girl with ambitions to realize herself. Mitch undergoes rehabilitation to overcome childhood psychological traumas and dependencies. Soon, he visits his father, realizing that he loves smoking more than keeping his figure in good shape. After talking, Mitch realizes that you have to fight for your happiness. A few minutes later, he meets Natalie on the doorstep, who has read his article. The girl confesses her love for him, but not getting a response, decides to leave. Realizing that their feelings are mutual, Mitch asks her to stop and passionately kisses the beauty with whom he's ready to spend the rest of his life. This is the end of the movie. That's all for today. Subscribe and like if you want more videos like this.